right, folks, federal government is 26th day of a shutdown. No negotiations are happening between Donald Trump, Republicans, and Democrats. There's no end in sight. Trump, of course, is adamant that he has to receive funding for his wall or steel planks or whatever the hell it is, where he's pretty much trying to satisfy the likes of nutcase Ann Coulter and uber nutcase Rush Limbaugh. Now, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats, are not going to give it to him. And the question is, what is going to happen next? Joining us right now is Congressman Anthony Brown of Maryland, who is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, glad to have you on the show. So, you know, you see what's going on here. Trump loves to wrap himself in the flag and hug it and kiss it and caress it and talk about how he loves the military. But what is the impact on this shutdown on our military, on troops, on contractors who also work with our Department of Defense?
The impact is devastating. I live in a district, I represent a district with the fifth largest number of federal contractors, federal employees, and small businesses that relied on federal employees. And I see it every day. People say, well, tell the stories. I hear the stories every single day, the hardships that are going on. This is the first time in this shutdown, the first time in the history of our country where you have men and women who put on the uniform to serve us. These are men and women in the Coast Guard. They're part of the Homeland Security apparatus that the president is trying to say, hey, I'm all about Homeland Security. That's why I'm shutting down government or keeping it shut down. And he's hurting the very people who are charged, who are to serve and to protect our homeland. That's the men and women in the Coast Guard. You've got that security risk. You've got the security risk at the airports. Those men and women who work for TSA, they're dedicated. They come to work every day, but they're human beings.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I was in North Carolina last night. I was flying in, flew back to D.C. Workers were there doing their job, you know, showing up there. But we were seeing all around the country. We've seen shutdowns in Houston, my hometown. We've seen it in Atlanta, where they're having to shut down checkpoints. And you've got backed up lines of travelers because TSA folks are not showing up, calling in for work for sick, or just some flat out quitting.
And even those who are showing up, again, these are human beings. So you show up to work and you know you got financial problems at home. You got child care problems because you're not getting a paycheck, right? You're making tough decisions on how you spend nothing because last week's paycheck was a goose egg. People didn't get paid. Next week, Friday, paychecks are supposed to come in. They're not going to get paid unless the government opens up on Tuesday. So how do you go to work as a TSA employee at the airport and get to focus on your job? You don't. That's true for Secret Service. The men and women who protect the president and other high-profile officials, they're on the job and not getting paid. The food inspectors, folks that are inspecting our ports, custom and border, they're all not getting paid. And so it not only has an impact on their families, it has an impact on America. And I think that it goes to the very heart of security and how this is detrimental, this shutdown to our homeland.
So White House says we're not going to budge. Democrats say we're not going to budge. How long does this go?
You know, you can't negotiate with someone who figuratively has a gun to your head. And that's what the president does. He's saying to Congress, I shut down government, so I'm giving you that as your bargaining chip. Wait a second. The default setting is government should be open. So we can't negotiate because today it's the wall, tomorrow it's supplemental nutrition assistance program. The next day it may be another ban on another group of people coming to this country. So you can't negotiate with the president when he's got government shut down. You got to open it. Now, what I suggest, and I'm starting to articulate this and voice this in my caucus, what we need to do, and I know it's hard to do because you got an unpredictable president, okay? A president will say one thing today, something tomorrow, so it's hard to negotiate if possible at all. But let's lay out the framework, okay? By a time certain, okay, let's have an agreement on we're gonna talk about border security. Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk about other aspects of immigration, mm-hmm. whether it's DACA, Dreamers, TPS, whether it's more judges for asylum, and let's at least reach agreement on the conversation that has to be had. Okay, the date by which we have to have it. I'm willing to even go so far as saying let's set a dollar not to exceed amount for border security. Now that's how do you define border security? That'll be part of the negotiation. We don't have to define that now. Open up government and let's make a commitment to having this conversation and ultimately a decision on what we're going to do.
I got to ask you this, and so this happened today. This dropped, let me see the time, and so it was, let's see here, I'm on Twitter here. I want to see what time this tweet was posted. This is the Twitter account of Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. The time here, it was 3 hours ago, so that was about 3:12. And so what's interesting here is that she released this letter from Donald Trump. It was sent to Nancy Pelosi. And this is what he said. Henry, go to my iPad, please. Dear Madam Speaker, due to the shutdown, I am sorry to inform you your trip to Brussels, Egypt, and Afghanistan has been postponed. We will reschedule this 7-day excursion when the shutdown is over. In light of the 800,000 great American workers not receiving pay, I'm sure you would agree that postponing this public relations event is totally appropriate. I also feel that during this period, it would be better if you were in Washington negotiating with me and joining the strong border security movement to end the shutdown. Obviously, if you would like to make your journey by flying commercial, that will certainly be your prerogative. I look forward to seeing you soon and even more forward to watching our open and dangerous southern border finally receive the attention, funding, and security it so desperately deserves. Sincerely, Donald Trump. Now, first and foremost, Congress has oversight responsibility, and so this is the executive branch telling the legislative branch what they should do.
This is entirely inappropriate. As you mentioned, Congress has an oversight role, which means we don't do our work just from behind the desk in Washington. We go to Afghanistan. I've been there. We go to Brussels.
Which is a place that he actually hasn't been.
He hasn't been. He's only visited the troops once.
Right.
And he bemoaned having to do that as well.
But also he puts in a public letter, and he is revealing where the Speaker of the House, the person who's third in line for the presidency, and members of Congress are going. He's basically telling Al-Qaeda and ISIS, hey, heads up.
Yep. She's on the way.
They're coming.
Right. No, we don't do that. We have clear instructions that, look, don't talk about where you're going on Codell's.
Right.
You want a message on it, do it when you come home.
I mean, I've talked to members of Congress who were actually on them, and I would talk to them on the phone. They could not tell me where they were.
We don't. So not only have I been on Codell's, when I was in the Army, in Iraq, on duty, I had members of Congress come and visit. They didn't come just to visit Anthony Brown. They came to visit Iraq.
Right.
They spoke to not only senior leaders, but troops like me and others. They want to hear, hey, is the training right? Are you prepared to do what you need to do? Do you have the leadership? Do you have the resources? How's morale? That's important for Congress to know, to fulfill our functions, to make sure that we're supporting the warfighter. That was a petty move by the president. Do I think it puts soldiers in imminent risk of harm? No, but it prevents Congress from doing its job, which is to fully understand what their needs are, the warfighter, so they can do it well and come home safely to their families. It was petty.
All right. Congressman Anthony Brown, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, many of us try to take our health seriously in 2019. And folks want to get healthy, folks want to get well, folks want to feel a lot better and lose some weight. Well, one of the ways to do that is working with one of our partners, the folks at D-Herbs. Yesterday, of course, we talked to the CEO, Dr. A.D. Dolphin. The D-Herb Full Body Cleanse is a great way for you to feel better. And, of course, look, many of us, how we eat, how we abuse our bodies, we ate all kinds of stuff during the holidays, processed foods, fried foods, you name it. And so what this cleanse does is just clean out the toxic buildup in your system. I've been doing it for this is like day 12. And so, yeah, I still want a good piece of chicken or some steak, but I can't. But between the raw vegetables and between the cleanses, that's exactly what it does. And so what we can all do, the D-Herbs cleanse together. You can go to dherbs.com, use the promo code ROLAND for a discount at checkout. That's the letter dherbs.com, or you can call 866-4DHERBS, 866-4DHERBS. That's 866-4DHERBS, and use the promo code ROLAND. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.